to my left.
Tim Brunson, City Council Member.
Jody O'Kady, City Council Member.
Ronnie Price, Mayor.
Tim Berry, City Council Member.
Colin Gallagher, City Council Member.
Homer, City Council Member.
Buchanan, Police Chief.
Rick Lance, Director of Public Works and Utilities.
Julie Boyd, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Mike Roosevelt, Fire Marshal.
Matt Kane, Director of Finance.
E. Klaus, City Attorney.
Dana Engstrom, City Clerk.
Les Mangus, Director of Community Development.
Geraldine Graham, Assistant City Administrator. Jennifer McCausland, City Administrator.
All right. At this time, James Gillespie of First Baptist Church of Douglas will lead us in invocation. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity and the freedom that we have in this great country to come and Lord, to have our freedoms and to vote and to be represented by government, Lord. And so, Lord, we just thank you for that freedom. May you protect it. May you protect our federal government, our state government. And Lord, tonight, we just ask that you bless the city of Andover. Lord, I pray for the leadership, all the council members and the mayor, Lord, that you would give them divine wisdom, that the business that would be done tonight, Lord, would be not only glorify you, but be to the benefit of the citizens. Lord, I also thank you for our police and fire departments, Lord, that keep us safe. Lord, I pray that you protect them as they protect us. Again, Lord, we just ask that all tonight glorifies you. May your peace be here. And Lord, we just ask these things in the name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. If you would stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. This time I'll open the floor for a public forum. If you have something you'd like to talk to the governing body about, feel free to do so and keep it at 3 minutes. Anybody? All right. Public forum's closed. Acceptance of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
There's too many Tims on here. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
all in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Presentation, Sunlight Children's Service, and Bren Murphy's going to talk to us. How are you tonight?
Good evening. My name's Bren Murphy. I'm the CEO of Sunlight Children's Services. I brought with me Angie Thompson. She's our Director of Development, and she's going to talk with you guys a little bit tonight about our programs and what we've been able to accomplish the last year.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. At Sunlight, our mission is simple but powerful: to protect children, support families, and help survivors of abuse begin healing. Every day, we serve some of our community's most vulnerable children, providing safety, advocacy, and trauma-informed care when they need it most. We have 3 distinct programs at Sunlight. The Child Advocacy Center, or the CAC, provides a safe, child-friendly space for forensic interviews. We conducted 207 forensic interviews in 2025. The Child Advocacy Center offers support for children and families during abuse cases. The Children's Home. The Children's Home is an emergency shelter for abused and neglected children. We had 535 intakes in 2025 with 78 sibling sets served. We are the only shelter that serves kids 0 to 18 in the state of Kansas, allowing us to keep sibling sets together. The Children's Home provides temporary placement while children await reunification or foster care. The Mental Health Program. The Mental Health Program provides trauma-focused therapy for children and their families. The mental health program services are provided at both the Children's Home and the CAC. To highlight our mental health program's growth in 2025, we received additional state funding and added 2 more therapists to our staff, which led to a significant increase in mental health services provided. The mental health program experienced a 64% increase in total services. 16% increase in CAC clients served, and an 18% increase in caregivers served in 2025. This funding has allowed us to reach more children, support more families, and reduce wait times for critical mental health services. These are not just numbers. They represent real kids, real families, and real healing happening right here in our community. Thank you for standing with Sunlight and helping us create brighter futures for the children we serve. Thank you.
Having questions, comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Ladies, touch on the boutique, the thrift boutique a little bit. What's that do and how can we be involved with that?
Sure. So the Thrift Boutique has been a huge asset to us because it solves several of our issues that we were having. We needed a place for the community to not only know about what our mission is, it's a public-facing place that allows us to share that, but also it's a place for the community to donate. We didn't really have a place to sort and store and all that goes along with the community donations. So it allows us to have a place to do all of that. And then, of course, the profits allow us, it supports our mission because we get the money from the store. We're always looking for people that are willing to volunteer at the store, trying to keep the cost of payroll down and all that good stuff in the retail world. So volunteering, physically running the store is an opportunity. And then, of course, your donations help us keep the doors open at the store.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Ladies, where do you get primarily your funding from?
The state, she'll have to step in if I mess up, state and federal grants.
Is there any other Butler County agencies that help? Does the county give you guys money? Do other cities give money for the service?
Yes, I'll let Bryn speak on that more specifically.
Yes, we do receive the liquor sale tax from two other communities in Butler County, and then the county does also give us a portion of their budget each year as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Anyone else? We're, other than when we do our fill the police car, whatever you call it, what other ways can people donate groceries and things to that matter?
Yeah, you can always reach out and see what items we're needing. We love grocery deliveries. Those are the best. Call and see what items we are in need of. Gift cards are great. Gas cards to Casey's. Any Dillon's gift cards for either gas or food. Fast food restaurants, we're able to give those out to our families. Sometimes we have families that are struggling to get to therapy services. And if they're there over dinner or meal times, we'll help and provide them those gift cards as well. So those are great items to provide. And then recently we've been starting to kind of ask as well for MP3 players. Our teenagers really like MP3 players that they can listen to music, but they're like the old MP3 players that you can't connect to the internet. So they're kind of harder to find. You can find some on Amazon or eBay or somewhere that we can download their music for them and they can still have that, but in a safe manner. So those are some great ways to assist. You can always email info@Sunlight Kids and reach out that way and we can connect you with what our current needs are. We also have an Amazon wish list that we try to keep current. So if there's snacks, socks, underwear, whatever it is that our need is, that's normally on our Amazon wish list as well.
Pardon my ignorance, how do I do that?
We have links, I think, on our website at sunlightkids.org and on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, anyone else?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate what
ladies.
you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the consent agenda items 8.1 through 8.4 as presented.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Special use 620 North Andover Road. Case number Z-SU 25-0005. This is an application requesting to allow for fresh fruit and flower market in the B4 Central Business Mixed Use District on the property generally located at 620 North Andover Road, Andover, Kansas. Before we proceed with the hearing, before we proceed with this hearing, I'll ask the council if any of them intend to disqualify themselves for participating in this case because they have a conflict of interest.
No.
No.
No. I will now ask City Council if any of them have received any ex parte verbal or written communication prior to this agenda item, which they would like to share.
No.
No.
Has the city clerk received any protest petitions on the case?
No, sir.
I now ask city council members, they have received copies of the draft minutes of the Planning Commission for January 20th, 2026, which summarized the hearing on the case.
Yes.
I now call on city zoning administrator to provide us with a report on this case.
Mayor and council, this is a request for special use for a temporary produce and flower market and move the Andover Plaza, or rather in the parking lot of the Andover Plaza, similar to like the fireworks stands. Like the fireworks stands, normally this would be a temporary use. It would not come to a special use and be a zoning case in that way. But a temporary use is limited to 120 days maximum per the city code. And they're wanting to exceed that in order to be able to sell through the whole harvest season. So while this is not listed explicitly as a permitted special use under the B4 district, all of the districts have a provision under their special use listings that say that uses that seem to kind of fit the intent and spirit of a special use can be considered for one. And staff feel that this is a perfect example of that. It's the kind of use that is already kind of in place at times on this property. It would just be extending the amount of time that it would normally be in place. While this would be in the parking area, again, like I said, similar to the fireworks stands, the amount of parking present on this property is far in excess of what is required for the businesses that they serve. So we don't think there's going to be any issue with required parking.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So I mean, I know there's been other flower sales there before. Have we approved it each time?
Sometimes it doesn't end up coming to you all. Some temporary uses can get approved at a lower level, lower, so to speak. Some are just a staff approval as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Have any written communications been received by the city clerk?
No, sir.
No, sir.
JT's bummer.
Does the applicant wish to present any new information? I don't reckon so. We would like to welcome everyone interested in this agenda item to come to the podium and give your name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. The governing body has been provided. The draft minutes and the video of the public hearing have been made available, so please limit your comments to information not previously shared at the public hearing held on January 20th, 2026. Does anyone from the public have any new information they'd like to share with us? No. Does the application have any further response to public comment? There weren't any. Assuming city council has received all the information they need on this case, you have received an outline of choices provided under state statutes for council action KSA 12-757C. Council, how do you wish to act?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt the findings and facts of the Planning Commission and accept the recommendations to approve the special use permit for the fresh produce and flower market during the months of March through October on the property generally located at 620 North Andover Road, Andover, Kansas.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Oh, yes, thank you. I always forget that, about 50% of the time. Persons aggrieved by the final decision of the council on this matter have 30 days after today's action within which to appeal to the district court. All right, 10-1, public hearing, presentation, annexation of South McCandless Road, and Les is going to speak to us on this matter.
Mr. Mayor and Council, for your consideration tonight is the annexation of an area we call South McCandless Road. It's generally south of Highway 54, about a quarter of a mile long, about 37 acres, 35 properties. In the wrong one. Nothing, Bueller.
Trey, can we get a little help?
There we go.
We're moving right along. The annexation of properties was discussed in the comprehensive plan process back in 2013 and was actually a part of the 2014 to 2023 comprehensive plan, where this property and many others around the city were included in an exhibit called Proposed City Limits. And the goal there was to square up those boundaries of the city. There are areas about the city where over the years there have been annexations that may have created a gap in that boundary. This is one of those cases. This property is surrounded on 3 sides by the city of Andover. It's currently served by Rural Water District Number 5 for potable water and by the city of Andover's public sewer system. The Rural Water District Number 2 lines don't provide fire protection. It's just a 2-inch water service line. The existing land uses around the property are both residential and commercial, being bounded on one side by the YMCA complex, across the highway, some businesses to the north, and one of the tracts within the annexation area is a commercial tract. All of the land unit uses after annexation would remain the same. All those land uses that are currently permitted by Butler County zoning regulations would be allowed to continue as legal nonconformances within the city. The future land uses are shown in our comprehensive plan land use recommendations. And as you can see, again, they are varied. They are some commercial businesses, some mixed residential uses, neighborhood residential uses, but it's generally in an area that's a transition from that highway corridor to more residential type uses. The property characteristics are generally residential, like I said, with the exception of one property that's currently used for business, another that is now zoned and in the city adjacent. But most of these residences were built in the 1950s to the 1980s, and they're ranging in size from 3/4 of an acre to 4.3 acres. We ran some calculations on the Butler County appraised values, and those property values average $140,000. With 35 property owners, we estimate that the population of the area is in the neighborhood of 100 people. The area is in close proximity to the city and all of its services. It's less than a mile to Central Park. It's less than a mile to Fire Station Number 2. It gains its access from Highway 54. Again, served by public sewer, public water, all of those city type amenities. We've done a little bit of work on the financial impacts, and all these facts are within that annexation investigation. The increase in taxes overall from the township, Butler County, to City of Andover is an 11.5% increase. However, there are offsetting costs in that the cost of the sanitary sewer that's currently charged as an out-of-city rate is a 45% reduction. Another city utility that's available is recycling and trash. The current city contract rate for trash is about a 70% reduction over the open market trash service. And stormwater charges would be effective after annexation. That's $24 a month. But in all, on that $140,000 average value, the annual savings is about $137. So there are offsetting costs there. We've had some discussion with some of the property owners about animals in the area. We understand there's one property owner that has a large farm animal and what we would call a small farm animal by definition in our ordinance. We've talked with that property owner and we understand that that's just the two animals and those are permitted by our regulations for a property of that size. As you can see, the number of farm animals is based on the size of the animals and the size of the property. We've also had some conversations with some of the property owners about code enforcement. The city of Andover's weed and grass ordinance would be effective upon annexation. The codes on inoperable vehicles would be effective upon annexation, as well as refuse, trash, and salvage. But our code officer has reached out to some of these property owners and he's already talking about compliance and those things that are or are not governed by city codes. So that's an ongoing process. We've opened the lines of communication to those property owners. The question did come up about the effective date of the annexation. It could be effective as early as February 14th upon publication on the city's website. We've provided a full copy of the annexation investigation report. If you have any questions, Julie or I would be happy to answer those questions as best we can.
Anyone? No?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
Les, I appreciate that explanation and the PowerPoint that you provided. I think that answers a lot of the questions that I heard from the last time that this came to us. So I appreciate the work you and Julie put into that.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor. Les, you did notice, or you did state that code enforcement would be upon annexation. And I'm assuming when you say that it doesn't necessarily mean from the day that it goes into effect, we would enforce said actions, but perhaps educate the public and kind of work with them like you're mentioning with the code enforcement officer to give them time to comply.
Certainly. The codes are the law, so they are effective the day of the annexation. However, our history in code enforcement is that we try to work towards compliance, not towards fines. Mickey's already talked to a lot of these folks out there to help them understand the difference in the codes. We've actually learned some things. We learned that in Butler County, only one inoperable vehicle is allowed on a property. We didn't know that. In the city of Andover, inoperable vehicles aren't allowed. So that's a bit of a change, but not much.
And Mr. Mayor, I have one more question in reference to fire. You had mentioned that the fire is, that the lines that are out there are not appropriate for fire protection. What are our responsibilities and how do we take care of that at that point then? Do we use pumper trucks or something similar to?
Mike can talk to the details of that. This is an existing neighborhood with existing conditions. If there was any new development, redevelopment, we would consider zoning, platting, and the required public improvements, which would likely require upgrades to the water system to support fire hydrants.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Gallagher, your question. The properties in question currently are in Fire District Number 1, which we have always served. In fact, that was our service parameters prior to becoming the City of Andover Fire Department in 2003. Our abilities to serve that area have not changed. We continue to service that area 100%. No questions asked. I mean, it is our service area 100%. With regard to the water supply, yes, it is, from a fire protection standpoint, it is an inappropriate or ineffective water supply. The main is not capable of delivering the volume of water necessary for an ongoing firefighting operation. The current codes, if we were to build a development, we would require a fire hydrant within 400 feet of any new property, any new structures being placed. So that's not the case here. These are pre-existing, would fall into that pre-existing non-compliant category. As it is, we utilize tanker shuttle water supply inside the city limits, and everything within 5 miles is a ISO protection class 3 because of our ability to haul water. We would still have that ability to take care of the water issue. Road improvement, if there was a way to have a recognized turnaround somewhere, that would be tremendously beneficial because trucks are only getting bigger every year. And a snowstorm with several feet of snow and a fire, it's difficult to find a driveway big enough to turn a fire truck around in at the deep in the development. But we've been dealing with it thus far. We'll continue to deal with it until things improve. But hope that answers your question, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr.
Anyone
Mayor,
else?
if I could, I do want to mention too, when we talked a little bit about compliance and code, due process is baked into code enforcement. And I think that's another important thing that we contemplate here. I agree wholeheartedly, knowing our code enforcement officer, he does work towards compliance. And the times I get involved in code enforcement, it's typically because the complaining neighbor, because that is what a lot of code enforcement is actually about. We should also keep that in mind, is it's another resident is displeased with somebody else's property. Their dissatisfaction has tended toward, it's not moving fast enough. I want this cleaned up or this resolved more quickly. So at the point at which our code enforcement officer actually issues a citation, and that does take him a moment because sometimes he's really trying to work this out and mediate between neighbors, then you've got a certain amount of days or weeks for compliance. Then you have the opportunity to go before the judge in municipal court. So there is a lot of steps in the process. And if anything, I would say it potentially favors the individual who needs to get their property into a condition that meets the code.
So I'm just curious, and maybe you can answer this question. When we did fire station number 2, didn't it lower the insurance of the folks on the very south edge of town? And will it change their?
So, Mr. Mayor, there would not be any change in ISO insurance classification for this series of properties as long as they are currently under an appropriate program with whoever their insurance company is. The ISO protection class 3 occurred for that area of our jurisdiction, I believe 2016-ish. It's been a few years. Adding Fire Station 2 certainly helped response times to that location.
Right.
The ISO benefit is more parcels even further to the south and east.
All right. Anyone else? Any comments, questions? No?
I do have one, Mr. Mayor. Sorry for a last minute. Les, I'm looking at this Highland Drive and Dublin Drive. That's part of Andover, correct? That's Andover city limits?
Correct. Has been since the 1990s.
Since the okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. At this time, we'll go to 10-2 South McCandless Road, public hearing. And at this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing. If you'd like to speak, feel free to do so.
Good evening. My name is Amber and I own the property at 840 South McCandless. And I appreciate that you have further explored different aspects of the annexation.
Can I
since the
stop you
last
just a
time.
minute? Can you point out, can you show us on that diagram which one of the properties that is your property?
Sure. Yeah, I live in the last parcel at the end of the road.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Yes, so I guess after hearing the information that you guys brought forward, I just get confused because I'm under the impression that annexation has been put forward multiple times for this road, however, has never gone through. And so in the annexation investigation, it was interesting that your main justification for annexing this road was for the US 54-400 corridor. So that's why it was making me look into that more. So I had many conversations with KDOT talking about that. And for the last public hearing, it was mentioned also that they were creating plans and it was like almost like right on the back burner from what's going on now in phase 1. After speaking to KDOT, this is something that is many, many, many years down the road. So I wasn't understanding the urgency in order, especially after reading that there's basically no benefit in services to what we already have. And it was just going to displace a lot of families, not giving them enough time, like for code enforcement and increasing taxes, that it would put them in a situation where they would have to decide if they were going to continue to live on that road or not. And some people have lived on this road since they could walk out of their house and hunt. You know, I mean, they've been there for a long time. They are members of this community. And also to take into consideration, there are more than just the mercantile businesses that are on this road. So, and also I have started a nonprofit organization, Equine Therapy for the Youth. And so I've been in touch with the zoning and planning. They understand that that's going on. So I guess I'll just read it from here. If annexing, so it seems to me like annexation is probably going to proceed. So I would ask council to.
Your time has expired.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Ma'am, I'm confused. So you live in the property at the very north end,
South.
south end?
Yeah. Yep.
I was out there today and there's no house there.
No, we just knocked it down.
So you don't live there?
No, we're rebuilding. Yeah.
How long have you lived out there?
Well, we've owned the property for, we're going on our 3rd year?
But have you lived out there?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No. Does that have a hold on something if I haven't lived out
No,
there?
I'm just curious, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, when I first asked you, you said you lived out there, so I was confused because I was out there today and the
Mm.
house is gone.
No, I never stated I lived out there.
Okay,
Just that I own the property.
okay. Anyone else?
How's it going? My name is Philip. I live at 556, so I'm the third property on the east side from Kellogg, right where the road turns. I think that I will agree with Amber that obviously there's a little bit more information this time around than the first time, which is obviously helpful. I was confused when the reason for annexation was to square off the boundary, and that was like the only reason that was stated. That doesn't seem like an adequate reason to add taxes. And I had this conversation, I think last time, our trash service is not $417 or whatever was figured there. It's more like $270. So it's only a $30 savings, which would make everybody's which make the total actually increase rather than lower. And I think that I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know going from in-city sewer to out-of-city sewer at $20 a month, that's predictable. We know what it's going to be every year versus saying, okay, this first year taxes are going to be this much, but then what happens next year or the year after that? Or now that you're in the city of Andover, your property is more valuable. So now it's even more expensive than it was, in previous years. So I think for me, and we had this conversation obviously last time, it just seems rushed, like it's not necessary to do it right this minute. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of plans in place as far as what's going to, it doesn't seem like there's something that needs to happen right now in order to move that plan forward. And I would say, obviously, with no additional services, it's not like we're adding, that statement was made of there's only 2-inch lines, so there's no fire hydrants. It's not, so we're going to add fire hydrants. We're not going to do anything, which is fine. But that just further pushes us towards saying, what's the point of annexation then? If we're not getting any extra services, it doesn't make sense to us. I think one of the big things that was mentioned last time was the road condition. And obviously you had talked about your guys' road crews were better than Butler County's, which obviously I don't think anybody's happy with the road. If the road was getting paved included in this, I think you'd have everybody's support. Amber, I know, has a petition with, I think, well over 75% of homeowner signatures on it saying they don't want it. So obviously we can provide that to you guys. But it just doesn't seem necessary right this second. Obviously we know as Andover grows and the corridor comes down this way, that can change, but it doesn't seem like they have a plan in place right now that's saying we need this done now so we can plan further. It doesn't seem like that's even at the point where they could say that. So I think that's our biggest frustration. It seems like the numbers are being twisted in order to say, okay, yeah, it's actually going to save you money, when in reality, it might save us money the first year, but then the second year, it's going to, guarantee you, everybody's property values are going to go up because code enforcement, it's just going to be a more valuable area, obviously. And that's not, I don't think the people that live in that area are concerned with the property values. They're concerned with the cost of living and what they're, if they get priced out and property tax, they're going to have to move because they just can't afford to pay the property tax on the properties that are there. And as Amber said, I know there's many people that have lived there, since the neighborhood was started. And some of them have just passed
Your
away.
time
or
has
moved
expired.
out. But I think that's the important part to remember is that people have been there for a long time. We want to respect that, obviously. And doesn't seem like it's necessary right at this moment to annex it. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hello, I'm Marvin Rock. I live the fourth house from the south end on the west side. And so my question, sorry, what was your address, sir? 801 McCandless. And my question is mainly related to the roads. About how many miles of gravel or unpaved roads does the city maintain right now? Anybody answer that?
I can't recall the exact number, but we have several miles anyway.
Last I recall, Rick, it was 15 to 16 miles. Since we've done a few conversions, it's reduced from the 17 or 18 from a few years ago.
Okay. And you have one road grader, right?
Correct.
So what's the planned schedule for that road grader to go maintain those roads on a monthly or quarterly basis? Is that try to go over them once a quarter, once a month, once a year? Anybody know that?
Generally, it's as needed. Depends on the weather conditions can change that rate.
Sorry?
The weather conditions can change that rate.
Sure.
So it just depends.
So, but roughly.
I'm not going to give you that amount. We don't really have a set quarterly schedule or whatever. It's as needed. And, you know, I think we do a pretty good job of keeping it maintained. I think you'll find.
Well, I've heard that. And I can just tell you from what Butler County has done, and I'm not comparing you to Butler County, but it's been pretty pathetic. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that lives out there, but
In fact, that's Bruno County, I believe, not Butler County, that takes care of that, your roads. And
I'm sorry, that Bruno Township.
yes, sir.
Yeah. And they've actually got 2 road graders now, and it hasn't really improved over the past year. So, yeah, that's my big concern and it's mostly potholes. The road has a good base. So it's not like we're driving in rutted, muddy roads when it rains, but it sure gets rough. And that just leads to bills at the repair shop for your suspension, so.
So I can tell you, sir, the people that I talked to out at Bicentennial, that the prior administration annexed them in, they're very happy with the roads. We did have some issues, to Rick's point, when we had the 10 inches rain over, and then we couldn't get in there and fix them because we had to wait for it to dry up and all that stuff. But it ain't our intention to make your quality of life worse. So,
Well, that's good. Let's see, what was my other question? So about paving, what would it take to get it paved, either an
Your time is
asphalt
expired.
pavement or chip seal?
so we have so we're keeping everybody at 3 minutes. We do it even at public forum, but I would like to,
Buy out?
but
Okay.
well, let me answer your question. So we said, this council put a deal in that if 51% of the people in the neighborhood would choose to have blacktop, then we would match that. And so that you're not whacked with the whole freight. You can go out to Lakeview Heights and you can see what we did out there. And it's quite nice. There used to be curb and guttering was involved, but y'all don't have, it's such that we can do that probably without doing that. We can just do a nice blacktop and, but that 51%, we'll take care of it.
Okay.
Up to 50, we'll pay up to 50%.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Good evening, Toby Byram. I live at 726 South McCandless, about in the middle on the east side of the road.
Okay.
I had a question. If you are going to take care of the roads, I'm with the group here. I think we'd be interested in paving everything. But if it stays rock, do you know where you get your rock from? Or what quarry?
Southwest Butler.
Where?
Southwest Butler, Quarry.
Okay. Is that the chalky? It's not really a rock, it's a chalk. What's it called? Limestone? Limestone chalk.
It's a rock. It's got some fines to it, but it's pretty much what's down on everywhere around here.
Hold on, I only have 3 minutes. I travel all around the state of Kansas. Butler County has the worst, dustiest roads anywhere in the state of Kansas. And it's from that quarry. So whatever we can do, if we keep rock roads, buy some different rock, please. It doesn't take, you don't have to go far, go to the next quarry.
Okay.
If I leave my windows open at night, the table has dust all over it. You can write your name on it.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? All right, public forum's closed. All right, annexation ordinance of South McCandless Road, and Les, are you gonna speak to us about it again?
Excuse me. for your consideration tonight is that annexation, that ordinance that effectuates the ordinance that could be published as early as Saturday, the 14th of this month.
Council, how do you wish to act?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I motion to adopt an ordinance annexing the area commonly known as South McCandless Road into the corporate limits of city of Andover, Kansas.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Oops, yes. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. City Council appointment, and, sorry. Yeah. All right. So I've picked who I think was the best candidate. We had a lot of folks put in for it, a lot of good choices. And that's why it took so long. I did my due diligence. I read them all. And believe it or not, it was a tough decision. I lost sleep over this. As Jenny can tell you, it's been weighing on me heavily. So I picked Marla Canfield, and here's the reason why. By the way, I received 14 applications for city council from January 27th to February 5th. Many of the applicants were qualified, greatly appreciated the interest of many in the community to serve in this capacity. In my review of the applicants, one stood out among the rest. Here are a few items from her application I'd like to call to your attention. 13 years resident of Andover, occupational background in economic and workforce development and business support. In her current role with Kansas Department of Commerce, she provides strategic guidance to business and communities on infrastructure, workforce, site development, and incentive negotiations. Her educational background includes a Master of Science and a Bachelor of Science in Family Studies and a Bachelor of Science in Family Studies and Human Services from Kansas State University, professional certifications through the Society of Human Resources Management, a graduate credential from Economic Development Institute of University of Oklahoma. Public service includes serving as a vice chair of Planning and Zoning Commission, chairing the Subdivision Committee. Marla has also served the city on these boards since 2019. For all these reasons, I'm pleased to submit Marla Canfield's name as my recommended appointment to fill the vacancy of city council this evening. Given her regular watches of city council meetings, I think she will have a short learning curve to get up to speed on city business. And that's who I would ask for you to appoint tonight, approve.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the mayor's appointment of Marla Canfield to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Paul Wimmer.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion?
I do have one, Mr. Mayor, if I
Sure,
may.
absolutely.
Did Mr. Taylor Train put his application in?
He did.
Okay, I'm all for Marla. I'm just asking because a lot of folks have reached out and asked,
Right.
he did run, he didn't win, but he did run, he ran in the last election, and the public, at least all the folks I've chatted with have said, he put the effort out. He should be the next candidate. So I'm all for Marla. I'm just trying to get that out in the open, a little transparency of why we didn't pick him, or you didn't pick him.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So I've set a precedence before. Jody lost by 4 votes, and then we lost somebody, and I didn't pick her. I picked the person that's most
Different Jody,
qualified.
not you.
Jody
Yeah,
ran.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So
clarifying.
She's like, wait, I lost?
I've done this before, and quite truthfully, I I have acquaintances that put in for this, and I didn't do it for any other reason than I picked the very first, this is the first person, and I've had some great council members. This would be number 15 probably. But I've never had one that had the economic development background. And that was a large reason why I went with Marla, because she knows, I don't like being the only one doing economic development. I'll just be honest with you. So if I can have somebody, and the bar's not high, that's smarter than me on economic development, then that's why it was met with people, and it was a struggle, but this was by far the most qualified to hit the ground running and 2-year appointment.
Do you, and we got this so late this evening that we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but do we feel any concern of her representing the state of Kansas and Andover? Do we have any conflicts going on?
So I'm glad you asked that too. That was the reason that it took so long, that we were making sure that there was no conflict. Some of her counterparts throughout the state are on the city council, but we wanted to make sure that it was absolutely okay. And I didn't get that. I didn't wait till 5 o'clock to change the agenda because I wanted to be, that's when I found out. I found out later in the day after I got out of WAMPO meeting. So I would love to mention it much sooner, but I was waiting for a yes or no. So.
Mr. Mayor,
Where you at? Oh, I'm sorry.
Down here, I've moved. So I just wanted to hit to, you mentioned it, but I just wanted to make sure that the community knows. She served on our planning and zoning board since 2019.
6 years.
Yeah, so 6 years. So it's not like we're a stranger to Marla. And I believe on the Eco Devo side, she helped with our strategic plan through Wichita State, right? So it's not like we just come out with names out of the hat and the mayor picks them. These people are involved with the city, and it does take some thought to put this on paper. And I appreciate the mayor taking the time to make sure there's no conflict with this as well. So thank you.
Thank you, man. It was very difficult because there were a bunch of good candidates, and the economic development and the fact that she had a shorter learning curve was a large part of the decision. Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know nothing about being mayor till 2 years in. It was 2 years before I got my legs. And another part of it is Jenny McCausland. When I first got elected, she had 3 brand new council members and a brand new mayor. And I thought Marla gave her the best chance because here we are with 2 new council members. I thought somebody that was extraordinarily green would put more on her plate and city staff's plate. So there was a lot of, promise you, there was a lot of thought that went into it, man. It was a difficult decision, and one that will haunt me for a while. All right. Any other questions or statements? Yeah. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Member items, we'll start with I'm struggling with names tonight, man. Tim, I'm sorry.
You're good. I participated in my first CVB meeting. That's the Convention Visitors Bureau meeting. So it was great to meet everyone there that was able to attend. Ms. Green and hearing about what all is coming down the pike for events in Andover. It's very exciting. So look forward to continuing to work on how we can bring visitors to our city. Additionally, I want to call out that while I was not able to attend the board meeting for the school district last night, 385, I did watch online, which is a helpful thing to have. And it was a lengthy meeting, considering various things around smartphones and electronic devices in the classroom, and they made the motion and it passed to take those away, or rather have them stored away, I should say, in the at the high school level. There was already restriction in the elementary and middle school levels for that. So that's a big change for current high schoolers or for next year. Additionally, they they passed a staffing recommendation for adding various staff members, 8 headcount for next year. So that is my update.
All right. Well, to let everyone know, next week is the Chamber Annual Celebration. So hopefully everyone will be there. We are going to just enjoy a night of celebrating all the members and the businesses here in Andover. Police and Fire Gala is March 7th. If you do not have your tickets, I believe we are maybe down to, when I say a handful, I mean literally one hand. I think we have 4 tickets remaining. So if you don't have your
Cody's
tickets.
got like 9 tables, but we're down to.
No, I only have 2 this year. I only have 2 tables this year. So just make sure that you do get your tickets if you don't have them already.
Go ahead, Tina.
Okay, I just want to congratulate, there's lots of things that's happened since, well, honestly, since our last meeting, I believe. The esports, congratulate both high schools for their good turnout at the esports. Andover Central took overall in state, and then I believe Andover High took best in Smash Brothers. I can't remember exactly what it is. The cheerleaders, I think we've already talked about. I believe we talked about the cheerleaders, but the Andover Central High cheerleaders took nationals. That's freaking amazing. I'm glad there's still some folks from McCandless here. I want you guys to know that this wasn't taken just in heart, just quickly. And I mean, Les and I have been chatting about this, and he's been working on annexation down there since 2013. So it wasn't taken quickly or without thought. So I want you guys, I need those folks to know that up here, we didn't just say yes and move on and go from there. The Kansas League, I believe Colin's going in April. Y'all appointed me as their liaison, and I'm on their board. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about the Kansas Kansas League of Municipalities, if I could say the word municipalities. Jenny's going to be talking about something here soon. I kind of don't like being part of those emails anymore because I like being clueless on some of that stuff. But every day they send emails out about new state bills, new Senate and House bills. This new one for property tax. It's scary, not only for cities, but I think for homeowners and services that they expect and all that stuff too. While it's going to make the state politicians look amazing, it's going to be hard for the local politicians if anything of that passes. There's several bills going around right now, but I don't like being on those email chains, but Jenny will talk about that. I think that's all I have right now.
Well, I would like to say that it is impressive that we had 14 people put in for an open city council member position. I think that speaks very highly of our community and of the people within our community. I do wish everybody who did put in that they don't give up on either a dream or a mission to help with the city or be a leader in the city. I would encourage them that the next time a position opens or elections come available, that they put in for it. There is a program, the ACE program, which is still taking enrollment for until next month, I believe, when it'll be starting. I think we're about probably 3 weeks away, actually. But the ACE program, which is taking enrollment for people that are interested, I encourage them to join me in that. I will be there and attending as well to learn the things I do not know. Also, like Mr. Berry stated, in reference to the McCandless annexation, I want you to realize that I take annexation personally very seriously. I think that next to eminent domain, it is the next most invasive action a city can take. This is not something that I took lightheartedly. Like the mayor stated, he had driven down the street. I had been down there. I have talked with Woodards as well. I have walked up and down the street, and I was actually pleasantly surprised from what I saw. I do see an Andover community there. And what I mean by that is I'm very proud to live in Andover, and there are many people that live here that are equally as proud. I don't see any obstacles that we, working together, can't overcome. And I do believe that the services the city provides, be it the street crew and the road conditions, I promise you, I know they say never guarantee anything, but I can tell you that we have the best crew in the state. The fact that you would have law enforcement from Andover PD, as impeccable as they are, respond to any incidents or concerns that you may have, again, is an asset. Please do not think that any of us that sat up here were just voting on an issue. You all had made this known that it was your concern even prior to me being up here. And from that day, I have, and we all have looked into this, and the city administration as well have done a lot of work to make sure that this will be as seamless as possible. So please understand that from the bottom of my heart, I hope that everybody will trust in the city and give us the opportunity to earn your trust, actually. I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Les, maybe. So Marla was on our planning and zoning. Will that position now be open and can we take applications for that or?
So if you let the mayor handle that, he'll be glad to do it. So I couldn't put nothing out because the late, but yes, Homer, we will replace Marla off planning zone and we will get something on Facebook as soon as possible. But I couldn't post something that wasn't available. So
Sure.
of course we have to replace her because she can't be on both. So, all right. So we'll get on that. And Les and I will take a look at those applications together because he's more knowledgeable on what will fit with that planning and zoning than I am. And, but yeah, that's part of the deal.
Great. That's all I had.
So Jenny and I talked about that today. I'm telling you, this is a last minute. I didn't know, y'all. I was at Wampo till 5:00, and didn't find out till later in the day. I wouldn't have kept something like that from city council if I knew the answer earlier, But that's just the way it landed this time, and have no apologies. So, can I get a motion?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the league. Do you have the deadline for ACE, though? That question was asked earlier.
February 12th. We do have 6 spots available. And the program the dates are February 26th through May 12th, with the final session that will be meeting here prior to the May 12th City Council meeting. Topics will include City Hall administration, finance department, community development. We have 2 weeks on community development, economic development, police department, 911, municipal court, and judge, the fire department, public works and utilities. We have a tour of the wastewater treatment plant, parks and recreation facilities, and the streets department.
Okay, I do want to address, as Councilman Berry queued me up for a little bit ago, the House Bill number 2745. We had been hearing murmurings through the league that this bill was going to drop and that it would drop, and when it dropped, it would go fast. And sure enough, the hearing is on Thursday. That will be before the House Taxation Committee. And then what we are hearing is the legislators intend to vote next week on it. The bill is riddled with problems. First and foremost, and I feel like I'm sort of on Groundhog Day because I've said this to you before and I got passionate about it then and I'll get passionate again. It takes away your authority and your ability to govern for the city of Andover. And you all were selected in a democratic voting process. So why that doesn't matter anymore, I don't know. But what I do know is that they are trying to take away your ability to approve a budget, to run a city with the level of services you think your community wants you to provide. And that in the past, we've indicated that the community wasn't pleased with those services, they could replace you. That was how democracy has historically worked. Now, they will put a 3% cap on your spending ability. There is an allowance for growth. It is unclear what growth means. So does growth mean when TIF gets back into the general fund versus being the diversion into the TIF fund? Do we still get what some have used the term a windfall? Or is that now just stay on the tax roll, no change? I can't even really tell you based on this bill if individuals' property taxes will reduce because it's not about a mill rate. It doesn't set the mill rate. It sets our expenditures. And so with this unclear growth calculation, I can't honestly tell you if people's taxes will go down, if they will stay flat, or if they will increase by 3%, which is the amount they're saying we can. What I can tell you is when we started hearing about this last week, Matt pulled up how much money would have not been able to be collected by the city of Andover in 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. And your approved budgets, because you all are authorized at this point in time to make those budgets. And if you were held to a 3% spend and you take out your new growth, it would have been $2.2 million over the last 4 years that you would not have been able to collect. You all can decide in your own minds what you would have chosen not to provide the residents of Andover in those 4 years. It could have possibly been the salary study that we worked very, very hard to implement on January 1 of 2025. And I'm actually elated to share that we have 1 FTE unfilled in the city of Andover right now. That's a priority of yours, is to recruit and retain the highest talent. And you've done it. You will not be able to keep that up if you are capped at 3%. I promise you that.
By the way, that's a first responder.
That's everybody.
Yep.
That's
No, I
everybody.
mean, that's the one that's open.
Oh, yes, yes.
So it's going to affect your safety, your day-to-day life.
So whether it would have been not adding new positions, whether it would have been not buying pieces of equipment, whether it would have been saying we can't build the new fire station because the utilities are going to go up more than 3% because we added a whole new facility. It is not reasonable to say that local government can stay within a 3% growth rate. I've sent you some emails. I will continue to work up some written testimony. It is due tomorrow by 3 p.m. But I would encourage members of the public to reach out to their legislators. In fact, the league is suggesting just all members of the House at this point because it will go to a vote. What they've presented is simply not feasible, and it attacks your local government. And to date, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
And I think the piece that really, I mean, it's all terrible. But I think the piece that really frustrates me as a taxpayer is it doesn't affect the state. So the state doesn't have that. And it also doesn't affect the school districts. So the schools can still tax. And we know how it is here in Andover. We love the schools, but I mean, their mill levy is rather expensive. So there's no control for them. It's just all about the city government. It's nobody else. So that's the part that frustrates me.
What was that House bill?
2745.
Mind you, this is the same folks that wanted to take the city sales tax away from us, 2 years ago? And so every city in the state of Kansas, the smaller cities would not have survived. And I happened to go up there with the then assistant city administrator, and there was a lot of small towns up there with pictures of their fire department, their police department, said these will go away. They're the first to go. The first responders, man, it's ridiculous. We're already faced with a revenue neutral. It's just one thing after another. And this reminds me of my father, who I love dearly, by the way, but he'd say, do as I do, do as I say, not as I do, right? And so your local government has, I harp on this all the time, Your local government has more to do with your day-to-day life than the president of the United States. Yeah, my eggs are high. Yeah, my gas is high, but it has nothing to do whether I sleep well at night because I know I'm not going to have my house broken into or my house burned down to the ground or whatever, you know. Nice parks, nice recreation, everything goes around from the municipal level, the local level. And if we don't pay attention, we'll be going the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I got passionate, so I probably need to come back to some facts. It's not about budgeting responsibly.
Right.
You would put on a ballot in November of 26, the budget for 28. We don't know we don't budget 18 and a half months out. We don't know what some of the things are going to come on. We don't know what new property values are going to come in. And so there would be revenue that would be exempted from that. So all you could possibly do is just ask for 3% more. I mean, that's all you can do. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It is not an attempt at better governance. The other thing that is probably really troubling for cities right now is they do create this, and they're not calling it Astra Fund because last year they called it an Astra Fund and it didn't go well. So they're going to create a fund, and if you stay within your 3%, they're going to disperse it. However, the bill shows that the money goes to the counties. So the cities are the only ones subject to this budget bill. You are the ones that have to constrain your budget, and depends how the relationship is between the city and the county if any of that money flows down to you. The way this bill is written today, the money will stop at the county, and then potentially you could do an interlocal agreement to get some of that funding. It's nothing that you could plan on. It is nothing you could make financial decisions based on. Lots of issues with it as presented, and I will do a better job of putting that in writing. Matt sat through a Zoom with me this afternoon. Is there anything I missed in all my gusto?
There's probably a few more things, but I won't go into great details. But like you said, the timing of it, but also there's no exemptions for debt. So there's potential to impact city credit ratings and interest rates on bonds. And we have a wastewater treatment plant that we're building right now that's going to have approximately a $36 million bond on it here in a couple of years. It would be really nice if we didn't have to pay a bunch of extra interest on that.
And mind you,
We being the city of Andover taxpayers and sewer users.
the county seat's in El Dorado, Kansas. So just saying. They get to decide where the 3% goes, you know?
How many representatives do we have? How many legislatures do we have representing Andover?
So you have, depending on where you live, you may have Representative Humphreys or Representative Williams. And then you would have Senator Masterson as your senator. But I would say you probably need to reach out to more than that, because I don't believe any of those individuals are on this House subcommittee. Matt and I looked through the list. I didn't recognize most of the names, so I don't know where, I didn't go through and click on each one to see where they live.
Miss Erickson. She's part of the school district, isn't she?
Yes, but I don't think she's on the committee.
Okay.
Wow.
But here's the deal. I found out again with the sales tax, it only took 20 of us to show up to get them to change their mind. If nobody shows up, you own it. You know what I mean? So it's real. This is a real issue. And Tim knows more about it than I do.
Unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, this is a voting year.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these guys are wanting to say they changed something, good or bad. So they're going to change it this year. And then next year they'll come back and fix it. But I think that's my only, I was up at the state capitol 2 weeks ago and talking to some of them. And I mean, they're trying to push so much stuff through so fast. The turnaround, I mean, they turn around, is it next week, Jenny? I mean, so stuff that's in the House is going to be in the Senate and vice versa. And it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't look like they're taking any time to even look at half the stuff. So I don't know if that's the case, but that's just what it looks like.
So unfortunately, that seems to be the norm.
Mr. Mayor, just to add one more, Representative Sandy Pickert represents my neck of the woods.
I'm sorry?
Miss Sandy Pickert.
Oh, yes, I knew that.
That's all.
We are having legislative coffee soon, right? March 7th. All right. Anything else, Jenny? All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no.
Motion carried.